You guys know it's my favorite when we're doing steak videos. I absolutely love it. Here's the thing. We're doing a blind taste test today. I've had this company for 13 years and I've spent 13 years trying to perfect the perfect steak and what is the best way to cook it. The problem is sometimes there's so many choices here at Embers. We got pellet, we got charcoal, we got gas, we got infrared, we got smoking barrels, whatever. Any way you can cook a steak, we got skillets, pizza ovens. Any way you can cook a steak, we can cook it here at Embers. Guaranteed. So what the heck is the best way to cook a steak? Well, today we're doing a blind taste test over here. Check this out. We're doing 3 ways on the gas grill. So we're cooking on the Bad Dog Heston today. And what we're doing is we're gonna test infrared heat versus a traditional burner versus with this unique rotisserie burner, we're gonna broil one. So we have infrared, traditional, and a broil. All right, so I got my arsenal of weapons here. Yellow mustard for a nice base. We'll do a separate video where I'm gonna tell you exactly the best way to cook the world's perfect steaks. I'll start with a couple tips today. One, with your red meat, you wanna make sure you set it out for a little bit. That way you don't wanna be putting it on the grill ice cold. That makes the muscles and the tendons sort of seize up and makes your steak tough. So make sure these sit out for a little bit. That's a nice little tip for you. This just sort of helps the seasoning stay on the meat. It doesn't actually add any flavor. Like you'll never taste this mustard. So you could use mustard, you could use olive oil. Olive oil burns pretty easy, but then vegetable oil, you're getting a ton of needless calories. Also today I'm gonna be using my trusty steel port knives. I think these are the best knives on the planet for under $1,000 per knife. I know. Samurai sword status. Check out our Fruit Ninja video we did. Give you a little clip of that. Oh, hold on, Tate, look. And then, of course, you know me, I don't like the foo-foo stuff on my steaks. I don't like a lot of sugar, a lot of sweet. Salt, pepper, garlic, SPG. A lot of brands make SPG. You can make it yourself, or you can just buy one pre-made that we sell here at Embers. Then I like to pat it in. A lot of people don't do that. So just kind of pat the seasoning into the steak. That pepper, it'll get you. Don't forget too, if you're in the Denver, Colorado area, that's where our showroom is. So come see us. Have awesome barbecues for sale. I always like to just hit the sides before I flip it over. These are thinner steaks, so the sides are not gonna be as important. If you had a thicker cut, that's gonna be important. So now talking about our actual test today, I was just thinking about it, and I traditionally cook on infrared. Infrared heat is my favorite, and I'll tell you why. We'll go over to the grill and I'll show you why. But the number one, you know what the number one key is to a good steak, Chris? What's the number one tip you can give someone if they're gonna cook a good steak?
I'd say do what you're doing now, the binder.
Really? That's important. I don't think it's the most important for a good steak.
High heat.
High heat. So the best steaks are ones that are seared. You have to be able to sear a steak. So you can do that obviously a lot of different ways. Cast iron pan, on an oven, gas grill if your traditional burner can get hot enough. I like infrared because infrared gets blazing hot. Like that burner's 1200 degrees. So you're guaranteed to sear a steak when you're up over 1,000. I mean, it's science. All right, so let me kind of explain the differences. If you're not familiar with what an infrared burner is, essentially, see this big piece of ceramic in here? That's like heating with infrared heat. So infrared heat heats objects, like this cooking grate, versus radiant heat. And so like I can barely put my hand above that. So the other advantage is you can see there's no grate over it. So because it's so hot, it just incinerates grease. So it also gives you the least amount of flare-ups traditionally. Versus a traditional burner, it's hot, but it's definitely not as hot. And then the broil, I'm kind of curious how a broil is going to do because now we don't have anything in contact. So it's not going to burn it, it's just going to cook it from the top down, if that makes sense. So I'm really curious to see if you don't have an infrared burner, I think you'll see in this video you need one. So we'll see. I'm getting ahead of myself. I think this one's gonna perform the best. Only one way to, well, the top burner is infrared too. So we got 2 infrared heat versus non-infrared. What do you think, Chris? Which one's gonna win? Chris cooks on some of these grills, so he kind of knows.
I think the infrared's going to tie. I'm not sure if it matters it being below or on top. So
The tie with the broil?
yeah.
All right, we'll see. Should we get these on? Now the other thing, when you're cooking with heat this high, you gotta be ready because it's gonna go quick, huh, Chris?
Yeah.
Okay, we ready? All right, let's start with the infrared. Oh yeah, mama. Traditional. Now this broiler is gonna be tough because it's hot in there. All right, give these a couple minutes each side, and then it's time for a little flippy. Yeah, I'm curious how it's gonna do. It's gonna cook from the top down. So now this is not meant as a broiler, but we're trying to use it as one. So see that? So see those little flare-ups? See how quick it just disappears? It just flares up and then boom, gone. All right, let's quarter turn this. I like a really, really nice sear mark. See if we're getting the same sear mark here. Nope. See, now it's sticking too. See, that still is gonna need a little bit longer. See, look at, you can see it cooking from the top. See, it's kind of crusting it. See that, Chris? So you have to be careful with infrared. The one thing with infrared is that you can cook too fast. So these are steaks are thinner, but if you had a big fatty on there or something, the inside's gonna be too raw. So what I like to do when I'm cooking with infrared is I'll start it here, crust both sides of it, to sear and lock in the juices, and then move it over here. Because the whole point of a sear is to get it nice and juicy. Keeps the juices in the steak. So just so you know, this is a Heston grill, which is a luxury grill. The burners, the traditional burners, are 21,000 BTUs. So it's a super, super high heat burner. And you can tell, look at it, the bottom of it. It's on full blast. No sear. Look at this. It's crazy. This is the hardest part of cooking steaks, is waiting for it to rest. Okay, by the way, if you ever watch one of my videos and then it looks like all of a sudden I'm just eating steak, so many people obliterate me for not letting the steak rest. And it's like, what do you think? You think we're shooting this without an edit? Like, you think we would just roll the footage of 5 minutes, 10 minutes of waiting, letting it rest? No, obviously we cut right to cutting the steak. So it's like, oh, he pulled it and then ate it right away. Yeah, it's called an edit. Come on, guys. All right, so this is the rotisserie. I definitely overcooked that a little bit. It just didn't look like it was done. Not having char marks deceived me. So that's our infrared. So we got nice little pink in the middle, and then a nice crust on the outside. And then this is just the plain old traditional burner. So here's the 3. So let's start with the broil. Yep, overcooked. That's my fault. It's still pretty juicy though. Pretty good. All right, I'm gonna save the infrared for last because I feel like I know that one's gonna be the best. All right, traditional. Good. Actually still pretty juicy. Not bad. Pretty solid. I mean, I make a good steak, so they all taste good. All right. Final one. That's a 9.5 right there. Okay, here's the thing. perfect medium. Medium. You cooked it a little long. I like medium rare. This is medium. Nice, crunchy sort of crust on the outside. By far the juiciest. One more round just to see. Let's get a little bit more in the middle of the steak. By the way, these knives, we'll post them, they're for sale on our website, but they're so money. So there's the infrared. Well, let's get the middle of this guy. You know what, this is actually not bad. But this is on a 21,000 BTU burner. Imagine if you had like a Weber with a 10,000 BTU burner or something. It's not gonna cut it. Okay, round 2. Broil. I know I overcooked it, which kind of skews the test. I'd be really anxious to try the broil again and not screw it up. Really good though, you know. But I like a nice crust. The broil doesn't give you that crust, don't you think, Chris?
Yeah, it looks moist.
Oh yeah. All right, traditional. The traditional held its juice pretty good. But again, we're missing that crust. All right. One more. Yeah, it's a winner. It's not, honestly, it's not close. Should we get Tate over here, see what he thinks? Tate doesn't know what type of video we're doing. Eat that, put that in your mouth.
Okay.
Good?
Mm-hmm. Very good.
How would you describe it?
Delicious, juicy, savory,
Okay.
kind
now
of tough. It's not the tenderest steak I've ever
that
eaten.
one? Better? Okay.
Juicier, way tenderer.
Okay.
Well, I would recommend against that. 100%.
Which one's the best one?
That one.
That one? Is it close? Not close? Do you want to know what the differences are?
Just give me a second.
Okay. Give him some time. You want a little space?
No, the closer the better. Man, that one was so good.
What did I
Tell me
do?
about it.
What did I do?
You seared it.
Yes.
Seared all three. But
So the first one I broiled, so I screwed it up because I cooked it too long. I'd be kind of curious if I didn't screw it up on the rotisserie burner. The second one was just a traditional burner. Third one was infrared burner. That's the good stuff right there. Well, I can tell you right now which steak I'm finishing for lunch. It's an infrared. If you don't have an infrared grill or a grill with an infrared burner in it and you like steaks, you're making a huge mistake. Big mistake. Get a grill with an infrared burner. This is unbiased. I mean, we sell them, but it just tastes better. Like, it's just a better product when you're grilling. Gotta get one. Just do it.